Hello, my friends. How are we doing today? I hope you all are doing very well. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit more about rep farming. As many people may know, that it seems to be an important part of the game at some point or different times. And some people just let the rep grow, pick one, work on one at a time, work on two at a time. But I found something in the game that I've been kind of tinkering with, playing with for a while, that at least for me is working really well in the game, and I wanted to share it with you all, just in case you hadn't come across this or weren't taking advantage of this. And admittedly, I partly came across this because Scopely, we still need them to release or free the loot goblin. But trying to find some other benefit for me, for you, for everyone in the mirror universe. So I came across this way to kind of find some more rep in the mirror universe. I wanted to talk about some of the advantages, disadvantages, get your thoughts on it, and you can really find out from you as well if there is benefit that you've been using or if this is brand new to you as well. So let's talk about it. Why? Because the players matter. All right, here we are in game, and like I said, let's hop right in and talk about this. And just before we do, if you don't mind, just take a moment here. I want to remind you that if you're not subscribed to the channel yet here on YouTube, please do so. It really does help the channel grow. And I always put as well my links for Discord and Twitch down below. Discord, come and join us. Just trying to create a community of people that are there to help each other out, learn and grow together, and to pitchfork and torch situations together against Scopely when necessary and when called upon. So feel free to join us. Love to have you there and help out where I can, but also have you help each other out and come up with ideas to get better at this game. Secondly, just mentioned Twitch. Have a lot of fun there, trying to grow the community there, live stream there, typically on Thursdays and Friday nights, trying to find ways to make that more fun, entertaining, but really just a chance to hang out. I could do it in other platforms, and I might do that in the future, but right now there's a lot more fun things to be interactive with you all there, so that's why I've chosen to do it there. So feel free to come and join us. It's lots of fun. So, alrighty. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to get rid of my camera real quick here because I sometimes forget and then it gets in the way. So let's just go into the game here. I'm currently in territory. Yay, come and find me if you're on server 21. Ping my base if I'm unshielded. Yes. Okay, so there are various systems here in which you can actually farm rep. So let's hop into a couple of these. Here's one that I went to earlier on. So interesting when you look at these hostiles, these survey ships. This particular system, the great thing here is that they give the same amount of Federation, Romulan, and Klingon rep. So unlike in faction territory where you go and hit a hostile, you're typically going to have two that go up, one twice as much as the other, and one goes down. And so the complication was always, well, I can only farm or increase one faction's rep, maybe two at the same time, but then you're always going to have reputations that are going down. And so it was always this juggle and never really able to get it up to a point where you could do all three at once. But with this, you can, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail later, some of the pros and cons with that. What this does also allow you to do is it allows you, depending upon what hostile level you're able to hit, that you can actually claim all three factions and have your reputation go up. How does that work? Well, typically, as you're claiming your, hop in here to your daily events, for example. You also have dailies that you claim for mining and hitting hostiles. But for example, here, we'll just look at one, where for Klingons, it goes up, but your Romulan and your Federation goes down. And so usually this is offset so much that if we hop here into kind of have the same scenario where you're kind of having a zero-sum game, right? Where the gains in one are being offset by the reduction in the other. So there could be some strategies that you can deploy when, as far as this goes. So I get that. So we'll talk about my experience in a little bit, but once again, I'd love to hear from you and to see if this is something you're taking advantage of or not. And I'm really hoping as I'm putting this video out that this is something that I'll share my experience with you, but you can share yours with me either on Discord or in the comments below if you're doing this, how it's working out for you. Because I do understand that you're going to see a reduction in your rep ability because you're trying to claim all three and that's offsetting each other. So I get that. The other, I guess, caveat here is that some people have been claiming one for so long, especially in your, oh, okay, that expired. I can't look in that system anymore. So anyways, that you're, you have one faction that is so far ahead. Let's say you've been claiming Romulan for the longest time. Well, if you start claiming all three, you're going to significantly not have progress like I've been doing with the three at once. And so you'll have a really hard time balancing them out if you have one way ahead of the others. So there is that for sure. Plus, if you saw that on the screen there, you know, I'm going to open it up again. Why? Because I can. And it's all for you. So good way to kind of talk about it here, but it also has 5-star parts. So this can be a good source depending upon your requirements for 5-star parts to source those. So you can maximize your turn-ins and get as many, these are broken parts obviously, but you know, the refined, uncommons, rares, what have you. So pretty good source of parts. I won't worry too much about these abilities. I mean, obviously, you know, it's got some abilities here. Hull breach, isolate damage, and do some decent damage. But if you have a pretty good ship, you might be able to hit some of these. Okay, so where we are now is this Mirror Universe and Galaxy quest chart. I have it in my Discord, in the infographics channel, so you can look it up there. And this has all sorts of information on it, and it's robust, has a lot of great information. The thing I want to zone in on is if you see this FKR/parts, you should be able to look at these particular systems here. Let me actually zoom in a little bit for the video here. So you've got these FKR parts, and you can go to my, there's others, Discords, I guess, that have these, but you can go to mine, I have it there, or ask me where it's at. But you can go to these particular systems here, see if I can scroll down just to get the ones we're looking at here. And it has these systems here, all the way from Mirror Tau Ceti all the way down to Mirror Romulus. And obviously the higher up you go, the more warp you're going to need and the greater benefit you're going to get out of going to those systems there. So good information to know, so you can have a place, so you know where to go to find out what systems you can go to. So that's useful information. I want to share with you, we'll do just some quick repairs here, the crews I've been using, and then I want to share with you where I've been going and the results that I've been getting. I did one test run today, and I'll share with you the results on that. So I have a tier 6 scientist, so I can go a little bit farther than maybe some of you, but even if this doesn't apply to you right now as far as it being hugely beneficial, hopefully you can just kind of put that in the back of your mind, save it, file it away, whatever you want to call it, so that you can use this at a later date, because I think it does have a lot of potential. I didn't actually start using this until actually after I had gotten just got all my factions to the 15 billion lock, and for some of you, those numbers, you're trying to get just to the 1 billion lock on one of your factions. It sounds like a lot, it is, but a lot of potential here, right? So something to keep in mind as you're going down the road, because it may save you backtracking and having to lock one at a time, maybe more efficient that way. So anyways, what I've been using, or what I used today for my run, was ePricard, eData 511, just going with a loot crew. For those who don't know, you should, but you've been in the game for a while. Anyways, with Picard, He's increasing the rewards by the rewards of hostels or mods by 100%. That should be affecting your rep gains as well. That's why I used him. And so he's got 60% plus Data's 40% with synergy makes this 100%. Data as an officer ability, he has that isolytic damage, so that is helpful as well. And some of this will be based upon research and crews and things like that. So take that with a grain of salt, and you'll have to kind of try and learn to apply this to your own self. I might be able to do slightly better, but I kind of thought, I'll just throw a loot crew on there, see how long I can last for the purpose of this video. You may have to tailor your crews. You may have to change it to some Janeway crew if you're not able to hit if the hostels are too difficult for you to hit. But I think my goal is to work towards the loot crew, so that's why I went with that. Okay, so below deck, I've got Hugh for the extra critical chances. We've got Paris for mitigation, and then my Bellona Taurus, which I am super happy. I just was able, through the NX01 refinery, well, I should say export, but really through the NX01, because that's where you get the credits for the refinery, for the export extension. Anyways, I was able to recently max Bellona Taurus BLT. So, really excited about that. I put her below decks for the hull breach, as well as I have some favors that kind of repair my ship, heal my ship, and then there's favors that trigger when the opponent has hull breach, stuff like that. Or maybe not favors, are artifacts, I think, in the game. So anyways, there's a lot of benefits to that that are worth kind of mentioning. I've mentioned this before in my videos, but I'll just mention this too. So Interceptor Emergency Protocol. At the beginning of each round of combat, Interceptors fighting hostiles suffering from hull breach repair percentage of hull damage taken in the previous round of combat. So I really like that one. I have found that when I maxed that out, it actually did help quite a bit. I do kind of wish I had an extra slot below decks. Decided not to max the Sanctus past 6 as I push towards 60. So anyways, oh. More below deck slots would be nice and helpful, wouldn't it? So anyways, so that's my crew. That's where I went, and I did not use any exocomps. Could see some benefit to that if you are using the faction rep exocomps. But there's a lot of research in the game, and some with, I think, the fleet commanders, and so there's just a lot of factors as far as how far you are in the game and how effective this will be for you. But what I end up doing is going to Mirror Romy here. I would like to be able to go to Charon. I can actually reach there, but I found with my loot crew at least that I don't last very long there, so I need a stronger ship to do that. But let's take a peek here really quick. I'll show you what I was working with. And I hit hostiles in this system here. So compared to the previous system, quite a bit stronger of a ship. But look at that, 175,000 per hit, and about 1,000 broken parts per hit. I think I was able to fill my cargo of my Sanctus, which is about 900,000, with the parts in about 10 minutes. So we're talking about 900,000 in about 10 minutes. So that really helps. You could look at putting some cargo officers, expanding your cargo capacity officers below decks like E-Data or La'an. So just some food for thought there if you're trying to maximize parts as well as your rep. It just depends upon the strength of your ship and what you need below deck to help you survive for the longest time in the Mirror Universe. Okay, so let me pull up this real quick here. Okay, so here is some information on, I'll zoom in just a little bit, on my results in the Mirror Universe. Once again, yours may be different, but I wanted to just kind of share with you some potential there. So I have a level 40 District 56 building, and that gives me about 30 minutes in the Mirror Universe. I hit hostiles, but I just about, I was getting really low on health and I decided to exit the Mirror Universe, had about 6 minutes left. So I could have even kept hitting if I had more whole health or a ship that lasted longer, something like that. So not quite the full time in the Mirror Universe. I'm currently about 18 billion when I started this. I now am between 18 and a quarter to 18.5 billion, depending upon the faction. Klingon rep went up the most, followed by Romulan and then Federation. But as you can see, I was about a quarter of a billion to almost 300 million there. And this was in what, like 24 minutes? And it takes me about 1 to 2 minutes, I think, to get to the system. So the benefit of having the protector is that you don't have to go through all these garbage systems here to get where at least for me, where I need to go. There is between Mir Nausicaa and Mir Romi, there's this warp path. If you don't have the protector yet, there's a research, and I'll point this out because I have been asked about it before. Like, Hunter, how do we get that? Well, let me show you. So it's right here, this mirror space warp unlock. So once you get your protector and you're unlocking it, you can actually go in here to get that there. So, yeah, that's something you can get that will make it so you can get to some of these bigger systems quite a bit quicker. Let's pull up the spreadsheet once again. And so I was there for 24 minutes, really about 22, 23, something like that. I was hitting hostiles in the Mirror Universe, which isn't horrible. It's not like I was in there for a whole hour. And lots of faction reputation there. Okay, so pretty good there. On top of that, I was also able to get about roughly around 6,000 credits. And that's just as random. You know, it's not going to say I'll get this every time, but this is what I got this time. So about 6,000 credits per faction for each trip. We'll call it about 6,000. This one's 7, that one's 6,400, that one's a little bit under 6. So, I mean, average really, what's the average? 6,400. So pretty good, pretty good. So just something to consider. There obviously, once again, is a lot to think about as far as what kind of ship do you have? What ship do you have? Like ship strength, ship power, what crews do you have? And those are all things that we can talk about, but this just kind of want to share with you, there is actually some systems out there that you can get some pretty big gains reputation-wise. And reputation is so important. Why? Well, once again, reputation is going to keep you from unlocking certain ships. And the higher rep you go, the up to a certain point anyways, you need to be careful because your dailies will increase for the level of hostiles you need to hit, although X-Borg does help with that, as well as your mining requirements. So for example, if you move your reputation up enough, you may have to start mining like 4-star, 5-star materials, and maybe you can't reach those systems. So just something to keep in mind. I'm at a point now where it is now changed to based upon operation level, and so I'm not too worried about it, but just something you'll need to keep in mind as you are marching your reputation up. Something I'm also interested that may be beneficial is that the Mirror Universe Hostiles, the Protector, the new ship, I'll switch to that real quick. Just trying to cover all the bases here, just to give you all my different thoughts. But it not only has a really fast mining ability, and you can get through the hazard systems in the new Mirror Universe space, but it has a fantastic increase to the damage for Mirror Universe hostiles. This ship, let's go here, and I am tier 6 right now. Cargo capacity 3.99 million. So I have yet to test this, but I would like to do so soon. But based upon the research you're able to do for the ship, as well as leveling up so it's doing even more damage, it's possible you'll be able to stock up on even more parts using the Protector than you could with another faction ship. So that's still out there to be tested, but the Protector, I think, does have potential. Just have to see how well it holds up against hostiles in those systems, and obviously leveling up the ships so it can handle those. I would imagine a tier 6 Protector wouldn't be able to handle those at this point, at least not for me and not with my research, because I've been focusing on other things in that area. So something worth considering if you can get to those large systems and you can just hit some pretty big hostels, you might be able to get a lot of rep. Had someone in my alliance that said they spend an hour in the Mirror Universe, so it's probably like 2 trips, right? And they probably took their Enterprise D, I think it was. But anyways, they went into the Mirror Universe and they were able to farm like 1.2 billion in rep, I think they told me. So yeah, I mean, a pretty significant addition to your game if you want to farm that rep, get to higher and higher levels. And once again, if you're getting up into the 50s, close to the 60s, you may need to have your reputation go up so you can actually get those ships. One reason why I started to push it was I knew I need to have a certain reputation level in order to get the Selkie, the G6 miner, when I get to that point. Not rush into G6 anytime soon because I know that has its risks. It's just a different ball game as far as I understand it in G6. So anyways, hopefully this information is helpful. Hopefully it kind of lays out what I have found to be the best rep farming system in the game, and hopefully it adds a little bit more value since we can't farm the loot goblins for that Trillium D liquid stuff anymore. So anyways, hopefully it's valuable to you. Hopefully this video is helpful. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that bell notification so you can be aware of when I release future content. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you next time.